right now is trying to get this all done.
Oh, right. Okay.
What did you say?
Are you drinking your non-toxic coffee like I am?
Non-toxic. That's the only coffee I drink.
Me too.
Well, good morning. How are you today?
I'm great.
All right. Good deal. How are things in Michigan?
They are beautiful in Michigan.
What's that?
Beautiful here.
Beautiful. I'm having a little trouble hearing you. I don't know if it's because I went out and sighted in my rifle on Sunday and didn't have earplugs in.
Uh-oh, don't do that.
What?
I don't know. Let me unplug my charger. Maybe that'll help.
I have to get my rifles all sighted in this time of year. So anyhow, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Doctor's Clinic. My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick, and this is Andrea McKinney up in Michigan. I'm in beautiful Fargo, North Dakota.
Fargo, North Dakota.
Boy, we got dumped on last night. We got like 1.5 inches of rain and just like that.
Really? We need rain here. We got a little rain yesterday, but not enough.
Not enough. Yep, north, about an hour north of us, they got 3 inches in that same amount of time.
Wow.
Right?
I bet they got a flood.
Yeah, but talking about rain, I'm always, every time I talk about rain now, I think about what happened in Australia when I was there. They got 7 feet of rain.
What?
2 meters of rain in like a short period of time.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. That was when I was down there in February. I mean, they were showing on the news, you got cows being washed down the side of the mountains.
Oh, wow.
And the crocodiles sitting there like this.
Gosh, that would be bad.
Right?
You want to raise your kids.
Andrea, aging can be a good thing, right?
Well, if you get wiser as you aged, yeah.
Yeah. If you do it wisely, you can really have fun.
Mm-hmm.
But so many people, I think what they do is they don't worry about it. They work all their lives and they just think, well, I'm going to, eat right, and they think eating is the correct way. So they listen to the dietary recommendations and they pile on all the carbohydrates, and they go to the grocery store and they buy these processed foods and they think, well, it's got, tomatoes in it for this, so therefore it has to be healthy.
Right.
It's made with whole wheat rather than white wheat, so it has to be healthy. Mm-hmm. And we've really learned that's not the case, is it?
No, in fact, my mother told me a few years ago that when she goes to McDonald's and orders French fries, that's good because she's getting her potatoes.
You're eating potatoes, yeah. But that's what a lot of people think. They go to McDonald's, for example, and not picking on McDonald's, but they go there and they buy a burger with lettuce and tomatoes.
Right.
And they think, well, there you go. And now they have Beyond Burger or Beyond Meat or whatever they call that. And they have at Burger King, they have the Impossible Burger.
Right.
And it's all made with, with GMO GMO plants.
Yeah, on cereals.
Super, super, super processed. And I'm thinking, well, aren't you ruining the idea by super processing it?
Right.
I mean, you have to go through the work of making it so that it looks like beef, tastes like beef, and even bleeds like beef by putting beet juice in it.
I never see it bleed, but
yeah, that's what they did. They added beet juice to make it so that it bleeds like hamburger.
Crazy.
And I look at that and go, wouldn't you be healthier just eating a hamburger?
Exactly. Right.
So, and now I saw that KFC is having like some synthetic chicken or something like that. Is that crazy?
Very.
See,
See, we don't pick on McDonald's. We are equal opportunists.
Equal opportunity. We pick on them all.
We're all fast food.
I look at all this stuff and I go, you know, I mean, we're getting crazier and crazier every week.
Yeah. So what people need to do is really go on their own and learn about what's healthy, what's not healthy. I mean, even if you go to a deli, if you buy the cheap sliced off turkey, that's got cereal in it. It's not completely meat. You have to buy good quality deli meat to get real meat.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to buy real meat to get real meat.
That's right.
Right. But, you know, I mean, so as we're talking about healthy aging and things about like that, you know, because that's the topic of discussion today, how to age healthy. As we look at a lot of different things, I mean, we've increased the lifespan of the human being. You look 100 years ago, back in the early 1900s, you know, if you lived to be 60, 65, you were considered old.
Right.
But
not anymore.
Yeah. So, but most of that was because we were able to figure out how with modern medicine, I'm going to give them credit for it. We figured out how to get rid of infections.
Right.
And we figured out how to slow the number of babies that were, you know, having problems during birth and the mothers that died during the birthing process.
Yeah, by washing their hands.
Those three things, along with having pulled the sanitation from dumping directly into our drinking water source, all of a sudden, you know, we see people living longer. That's what really changed it, wasn't it?
Right. Sanitation more than anything.
Yeah. But those things combined is really what changed it and got people so that they're living longer. So now the whole goal is, how do we increase what they're calling the health span?
Right. That time period that you live in health longer, the span of time you live in health. That's
right. So I put together a couple of slides that I thought we'd share. And I know you haven't seen these yet. So I'll put our little photos up in the corner there and move this around. You know, so I just called it healthy aging. What does it take?
Right.
I threw this together this morning. So, you know, I mean, the thing about it is that we can't say that, you know, we're going to help people live forever or anything like that. But we're sure going to do our best to get people so that they can, so they can live healthy.
Right.
And we've talked a lot about that. I think we talked about telomeres last week, didn't we?
We did. And it's a great topic to discuss again, because a lot of people may have missed it.
Yeah. So on the right side of the page there, you can see, the double helix, that's our chromosome. And right on the end, there's something called a chromosome cap, and those are called telomeres. And they're the protective end caps on the DNA. And Andrea, you know, what do we compare them to?
Shoelaces.
Yeah, and what's that little plastic?
Those little things. We figured it out once.
Anyway, yeah, what is that called?
Plastic part on the end of a shoelace.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what they're called, but I mean, I've heard it before. But you know, anyhow, when that falls off your shoelace frays out, and you got to put tape on it.
Well, if that works, yeah. It's no longer useful as designed.
Or take a lighter and burn the end of the shoelace, right, to make it so it doesn't fray out.
Right, but you can't do that to your chromosomes.
You can't do that to your chromosomes and your DNA. So basically, this is what the chromosome looks like, and on the end there you can see those little orange caps, And what happens is that when you're born, you have about 10,000 of those little nucleotides. They're called nucleotides. And as you go through life, a little bit of that's clipped off, a little bit is clipped off every day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do things wrong, you can speed up that clipping process. If you do things right, you can keep it slow, and you can slow the aging process by doing that. But different things cause the telomere to be damaged, and it causes it to basically fray out faster, which leads to premature aging, and it can affect the health of the person, and it destroys the genetic information.
And the important thing here is that we are in control.
We what?
We are in control. We decide. We make choices that either lengthen them, protect them, or destroy them.
That's right. That's right. Last week we talked about it, that studies even showed that if you can lengthen the telomeres, if you can keep the telomeres long, you can support healthy brain stem cell activity. You can actually activate brain stem cells.
Well, we all need that, don't we?
That's right. And that'll help prevent dementia and Alzheimer's and that. So in this slide here, you can see that it talks about the different things that happens because of oxidative stress. Mm-hmm. And oxidative stress is related to diabetes and fatty liver disease, aging, arthritis, neurological disease, cancer, and hardening of the arteries, atherosclerosis. And your stress hormones and inflammatory stress, it puts strain on this body at the molecular level. And that affects your telomeres, and bottom line, it'll affect your longevity. And so stress, whether it's chronic or if it's just perceived stress, if you think you have problems, it's going to cause stress on your cells, and it's going to lower the telomerase activity. Cigarette smoking causes stress, chemical stress, and it shortens the telomeres, and again, it lowers the telomerase activity. Obesity, higher BMIs cause shorter telomeres. Depression, exercise increases telomerase activity and increases the length of the telomeres. Nutritionally rich diets with different things we'll talk about that in a little bit. And inflammation causes shorter telomeres. Poor sleep. I was just reading this morning that they've determined that poor sleep really affects the telomeres. Really? Yeah. Remember that talk we did on sleep? This was probably last January, 6 or 7 months ago. And we talked about that interrupted sleep was actually worse for you than having decreased amount of sleep.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I don't remember that, but go ahead.
Yeah. So it was a talk that we did on sleep and sleep cycles, and they found that interrupted sleep was so much worse. So if you're waking up at 2, 3 in the morning, and you're waking up again at 4 or 5 in the morning, and even if you go back to sleep, they're saying that that's worse for you than only being able to sleep 5 or 6 hours a night.
So stay up late and get up early and sleep hard.
Yeah. Yeah. BJ Palmer, who is one of the founders of chiropractic, he said early to bed, early to rise. Mm-hmm. Right? He said work like hell and advertise. That was one of his sayings. I really like that. And high oxidative stress causes problems with the telomeres. And so we started kind of calling it the life support for your age. You like that term, life support?
I do. Ageless life support.
Ageless life support, right? And so exercise, of course, like we just talked about, it affects the telomeres. They found that people who were significantly more active than those that were the least active, they found that their telomeres were 200 or more nucleotides longer. Nucleotides are the little pieces that are clipped off. So they found that active people had 200 more telomeres than somebody who was inactive at the exact same age.
Awesome.
Right? So you take somebody, I'm 57, and I would say that I've got probably moderate exercise with the things that I do. And so they're saying that somebody who exercises a lot and they're 57 years old, they're going to have more telomeres than I do.
Well, they are, unless they're supplementing to help support their telomeres.
Well, yeah, but just let's say everything else the same.
Okay.
If they exercise more, right?
Right.
And so the study that was done by the National Institutes of Aging, they showed that if you increased certain branched chain amino acids, you could make your brain think you're exercising.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. So, how many millions of dollars were spent on that study? Wasn't it like 20 million?
Yeah, a lot.
It was partially funded by the National Institutes of Health and the National Institutes of Aging.
Right.
So they found that those branched chain amino acids. So, what product do we have that follows that formulation?
We have a product called Sizzle Ripped that is a blend of amino acids. That's
right. And soon we'll have another product that will follow the same thing, except that it'll be supercharged.
Supercharged. We like that.
I like supercharged. I'm gonna put a supercharged engine in one of my cars. But anyhow, if you supercharge this nutrition, which Tom is working on right now, holy cow, can you imagine?
Oh, that'll be great. Because the research is, over $20 million of research has already proved how important that is.
That's right. Yeah, they found that if you exercise, if your body is building new muscle, they found that it stimulates the brain to think that you're still alive, you're not dying.
Yeah, that's great. So this intake of amino acids is supplying the amino acids that your body requires, so it does the same thing.
That's right. And it's backed by like 25 or more clinical studies on humans.
Right.
Clinical human studies. So we can say that. A lot of nutritional products, we actually can't say that. But we can actually say it about our product because we're using the same product that was studied.
Right.
That's important. And so it'll make you, so you have longer telomeres, and it'll make you actually biologically younger.
That's what our goal is.
That's right. Because you can have somebody, I'm 57, you can have somebody who's 47, but biologically they can actually be older than I am.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And they found that telomeres, measuring your telomeres is a great way to determine your biological age. It's been proven in studies that's a great way to determine biological age. Here's something that they found. Higher vitamin D concentration was associated with longer telomere activity.
Oh, really? So you should get some sunshine for sure.
Yep. So people who live in states, unlike you and I, where they have sunshine all year round, they tend to live longer. They tend to be healthier. They found that, researchers at the University of California found that people that had higher blood levels of omega-3s from fish had longer telomeres.
So that's important to have the right omega.
That's right. Vitamin C has been associated with longer telomeres. Resveratrol activates telomerase in epithelial and endothelial progenitor cells. Progenitor cells are stem cells.
Okay.
So resveratrol activates the telomerase in the epithelial and endothelial stem cells and protects the DNA through something called a sirtuin gene, SIRT1.
Mm-hmm.
So isn't that important for life support if you have DNA protection?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, we've talked about it on this call before as well. And we've talked about the fact that your DNA is damaged every single day. What kinds of things damage your DNA?
Oh, toxins in the environment.
Toxins?
Exposure to radiation.
Radiation?
That's
stress?
Stress.
Yeah. So important, resveratrol. What product do you know of that has the best resveratrol?
Well, we at Sizzle have a product called Eternity, aptly named, because it helps create eternity for you. Yeah.
Resveratrol is highly unstable. It oxidates really quickly when it's exposed to air and oxygen. And so resveratrol, it's really important that you protect the resveratrol molecule. And Tom Maurer Sr. has developed a way to protect this resveratrol when he puts it into the Eternity product. And you've heard Bill DeFalco's testimonial.
Oh yeah, I sure have.
Right. Bill was using resveratrol, but it really wasn't helping his heart health. And then when Tom came out with Eternity, Bill started taking the product. And how short a time was it? I mean, it was like a really short time frame that Bill started noticing just all these great changes in his heart health. His cholesterol dropped, his activity levels were able to go up, and he says that because of this product, because of Eternity, he was able to celebrate his 65th birthday just recently, and actually spend some time with his grandchild.
Yeah, he has a new grandbaby. He lived long enough to see one.
I mean, thumbs up, Bill. If you're watching this, if you're watching the recording of this, and then of course, you and I have heard of astragalus and Bacopa or Bacopa, however you want to say it, and extracts from these two plants activate and support healthy telomeres.
Yeah, they sure do. I like to say Bacopa.
Do you say Bacopa?
I like to say Bacopa.
Yeah.
It's just fun to say.
It's fun to say. Remember that episode of Seinfeld when they were talking about salsa? It's fun to say salsa. So talking about like the Sizzle products, and again, I have to go back and revise this slide because I don't have ripped on here.
Aha.
And there'll be two new products that we'll be adding to this pretty quickly. But when we look at this, TSX, if you want to tell a little bit about TSX, what it is, what it does.
Oh, sure. TSX is a product that has astragalus in it, which has been shown through research to support the telomeres in your body. And so it will help support those end caps of the DNA that Doc and I were just talking about.
That's right. I mean, it's telomere support extreme is what the TSX stands for. It's an abbreviation. And And telomere support extreme, what it does, it supports healthy telomeres. And there's ingredients in there. I mean, one of the active ingredients, I've heard it can cost up to $84,000 per kilo.
I heard that too. That's amazing.
Yeah. And then there's another ingredient that costs $42,000 per kilo.
We always get the best.
Right. And so that's why it's a fairly spendy product. I mean, our product is what, $150 retail?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. And when you look at some of the other products on the market, I mean, the next best product that I've seen ranges between $350 to $500, depending on where you buy it.
Right.
And based on the formulation, in my opinion, our product is like 300 times more powerful, you know, and again, that's my opinion. I don't have a scientific lab back over here. I'm not testing it. So I'm just saying that I feel that our product is that much better. We've talked about the Eternity. It's got resveratrol. Resveratrol has been studied, and it's really an excellent product for increasing overall longevity. Super Omega Plus, we were just talking about how they found that people who have higher levels of fish-based omega-3s in their bloodstream, when they measure it, they found that those people have longer telomeres, which equates to a longer life.
Right, and our product is full of a combination of omegas.
Right, and why is that important? Why is it important to have a combination of different omegas?
Well, because it causes more of a synergistic effect of the oils in your body.
That's right. They work together, but also each oil, not only does it come from a different source, but it has individual properties that support the body in different ways. So we blended that together, and then we've added CoQ10.
And it's the real CoQ10, not the one that is put in some products out on the market. That's really what, CoQ9 or something like that.
That's right. So we're adding the best form of CoQ10, and then we look at our Balance D product, and Balance D, it's primarily for gut health. But when you're talking about gut health, you have to be talking about vitamin D as well. And this isn't a high source of vitamin D, but it's got enough that it's going to make a difference, and it's an activated form of vitamin D, vitamin D3, and like we were talking about on the previous slide, that vitamin D has been associated with longer telomeres.
Right.
And it's important for gut health, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And we've discussed that all year, how important gut health is.
That's right. And vitamin D, like you said, you get it from sunshine. So, you know, really in the wintertime, you know, we should be sitting in front of a window when the sun is, even when the sun's not shining, you know, even when it's cloudy, because those rays are gonna come through the clouds, and they're gonna come through the glass, and it's gonna benefit you, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So really, really important. Or take a vacation, go south. Like I've spent the last couple winters down in Australia, and I'll tell you, Andrea, I love it.
I bet you do. I can't wait to go with you sometime.
I'm already looking forward to this year, because I was just reading in the Farmer's Almanac, whether you can believe that or not, but they're saying that we're going to have another
Stop.
cold, wet, snowy winter.
I already saw that. I'm not going to believe it.
Yeah. SpectraMax. SpectraMax is another product that I would recommend, you know, and SpectraMax, you know, tell us a little bit about SpectraMax. What's in there that makes it so good for you?
Well, first of all, we have all the essential minerals that you need, and essential means you need them. They are essential to health. And it's full of antioxidants, which will break down free radicals in your body. It's been designed to actually break them down all the way. Like there's like, in some cases, 39 levels of these antioxidants. Or free radicals. They break apart and they create two more. And so we've got something in there to break those apart. So it breaks it down until they're like ineffective to destroy your body.
That's right. You know, I'm going to explain that just a little bit more for people because I think they hear you say that, but they don't really understand it. So think of it like this. You've got a free radical, which is triggered by a toxin. How does a toxin trigger a free radical? What it does is it steals the electron from a cell. And when it steals an electron from a cell, now that cell becomes a free radical. And so when you take an antioxidant, what the antioxidant does is it replaces the electron. And when it replaces the electron, now that cell is healthy again. It's not a free radical, but now you have another free radical cell that steals an electron from another cell. And then we have to go through the process again. Otherwise, you got another free radical. It might be a little bit weaker, but it's still there. And so like Andrea is saying, we reduce those free radicals. It's called oxidation reduction. And what we do is we reduce that free radical again and again and again and again, up to 40 times. And that's why it's important to have 40 antioxidants like we do in SpectraMax versus just one that most people get when they say, oh, I'm taking an antioxidant.
Yeah.
Right? And jump down a couple lines there, and we talk about the H2 sticks, the hydrogen water. How does hydrogen water fit in kind of with everything that we were just talking about with SpectraMax?
Well, it basically does the same thing, but it eliminates the worst free radicals in the body. And when they have those arms that are not connected and they're seeking out elements from your cells, it goes in and locks hydrogen on the end of that arm, and it instantly turns that free radical into water.
Right. And what Andrea is talking about is that arm or that marker. It's called a hydroxyl group. And what a hydroxyl group is, it's got an O and an H. And so it's missing a hydrogen. So it's an OH negative, right?
Right.
And so that OH negative is looking to steal something from parts of your body. And because it's almost water, it passes through to a lot of different cells because your brain says, oh, that's just normal. That's healthy because it looks almost like water. So then with the hydrogen water, it's got free hydrogen in it. And that H combines to the OH. So the H plus combines to the OH negative. And like Andrea said, H plus OH equals H2O, which is water.
Water. And
water.
You just eliminate it. Yep.
Water. And then we talk about fucoidan. Fucoidan is another product that really helps out with the aging process. And my reason that I include it here is because it gets rid of inflammation. And like we were talking about on one of the very first slides today, inflammatory stress is very hard on the body.
Extremely, and causes a lot of the major diseases. Not to mention, it's a great contributor to heart disease.
Yep, and it causes kidney damage.
Right.
And fucoidan will reverse that based on the studies that came out in April of 2018 on the brown seaweed extract that's called fucoidan. They found that it actually helps out with health of the kidney. So we can't say it about our product, but we can say it about the fucoidan extract.
Right, which is what our product is, basically.
Which is what our product is made of. And then we have brain vitality. And brain vitality, the reason I include this because it's got magnesium threonate, which goes directly to the brain. It passes through the blood-brain barrier very easily. And they found that magnesium helps out with the health of the brain. But it's also got an extract from turmeric called curcumin.
Yeah.
And it's biocurcumin, which is a 95% concentrate. You know, and that's important, Andrea, that when we're talking about our products versus somebody else's products, I mean, you can take curcumin, for example, and you can put a little dab of it in there, and you can have that mixed with a lot of turmeric, and they can call it curcumin.
Right.
But if you have a 95% concentrate, what it means is you've taken out all the other things, all the other ingredients from turmeric, and it's a 95%. 95% of that is curcumin. So it's a patented form of curcumin, and they found that gets rid of inflammation, and it's great for brain health. But they also found that it works with the telomeres. Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff. And then we talked about the H2 sticks, and then of course Sizzle Cafe, our coffee and our green tea products, they contain Bacaba.
Right.
Now, is that what you're drinking right now, the green tea?
I know. I'm drinking coffee.
Oh, do you chill it?
I just mix it up in my water with a little hand blender.
Yeah.
Fluff a little air in there, drink it down.
There you go. And that's got the Bacaba in it. It's, or Bacopa, however you want to say it. It's also got chaga. That's healthy for you. It's got Gotu Kola.
All good for you.
Yeah, Gotu Kola. There's a lot of good studies on that. And then it's got some healthy mushroom extract in there too, doesn't it? Ganoderma.
Right.
Bumps up the immune system. You need a healthy immune system. And then, Andrea, I threw the personal care products on here too, because I really feel that if you're going to spend all your money buying these products here and recommending these products, if you're not going to change your lifestyle, why would you spend $1 buying anything else?
Yeah, you're kind of defeating yourself, 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
That's right. If you're going to cause oxidation and you're going to put toxins in your body, not good.
That's right.
So, anything else that you want to add here that maybe I didn't have?
No, I think it's great what you put together, and this ageless life support is a great topic to talk about because people can be intentional.
That's right.
About living healthy longer.
Oh, how many testimonials do you think you hear every month where people say, I feel younger. I feel like I did 10 years ago. I feel like I did, 5 years ago. I feel like I felt 20 years ago. I mean, how many testimonials do you hear every month where people say that?
Tons of them. And, personally, I often, I'm so busy working during the day. I'm working on my house. I'm building things. I'm doing gardening. I'm active most of the day. And sometimes I just stop and think. It'll be like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, and I'm still looking for things to do. I can't believe I have this much energy. I think if I hadn't been actively doing a life support system for my age, that by now I would have been a lot more sedentary and not able to do the things I do on a regular basis.
That's right. You think of a lot of people that are our age. Mm-hmm. They're always saying, "Oh, I'm getting old."
Right.
Do you ever say that?
Nope. I try never to say that.
Yeah, but I hear a lot of people saying that. I was with some friends of mine last week that are younger than me, and the one guy said, he says, I'm getting old. And I didn't.
People claim that over themselves. I try to not claim bad things over myself. But, last year I was helping my neighbors get a cat had gone up their tree and had been up there for 2 or 3 days meowing away. And I'm like, okay, if they're not going to fix this, I'll go fix it. So I took some scrap lumber and put it all together and made like this little cat ladder. And I went over to the neighbors, and he was, helping me lift this very long piece of wood up on the tree so this cat could get on it. And he'd have to sit down every 3 minutes. Wow. We'd work on it, and then he'd go, I got to sit down. And I'd be like, wow, and he goes, he's sitting there resting for 5 minutes to work 3 minutes. And he's like, well, I'm not doing too bad for being 61. And I'm thinking, what? You know, like, I'm like 2 years older than you. And
I usually just figure if the cat got up the tree, the cat's going to get down from the tree.
Well, I was tired of hearing it scream for 3 days, so I had to go help it.
Yeah. Well, you know. So, you know, Andrea, I just want to say as we end this presentation that, you know, this is really done for educational purposes. We're not intending it to be a substitute for medical treatment and following the advice of your doctor. It's just information. It's give you alternative options. It's not practicing medicine in any way. And, you know, some of the information, I mean, I'll come back in a week or 2 weeks and I'll have read new information. So, you know, then we have to update it. So it's important that if you want to keep up with what we're finding with this research, join our page, join the you know, Doctors Clinic page on Facebook, and you'll keep up to this information. You'll be informed of new things, because of course, how many months down the road and all of a sudden this is something, this video, people won't be watching anymore because it's, you know, we do a new video every week.
Right. Every Tuesday at noon, we're on the Facebook page, Doctors Clinic, Doc Phys with Friends.
That's right. And it doesn't reflect upon, you know, the company Sizzle or their opinion or anybody there. This is just, you know, my opinion and yours too, because you're here and, you know, but it's our opinion. And it's, you know, none of it's been evaluated by the FDA. So we can't make medical claims, anything like that. We can just say that, hey, based on the studies on these types of things, here's what our opinion is.
Right. And, you know, I like, Doc, that you continue to do your research and bring us very relative information to becoming ageless.
That's right. You know, hey, Andrea, you know, as we talk about it, 12 years ago tomorrow, I came out of my coma.
You came out of your coma? Well, I'm so glad you did.
Yeah. After my motorcycle wreck, they induced me into a coma for 3 days. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 12 years ago at this time. So 12 years ago today, I was still out of it, literally.
Yeah. And now you're doing fabulous.
Oh, I got a few more things to do to get my body working the way it's supposed to, but you know, I'm working at it because I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up and accept that I'm totally healed yet. And right. That's really what we're telling people is that, you know, don't just accept age. Age is just a number.
That's right. And, you know, so many times on social media, you'll see people sharing jokes or little memes about, you know, their age or, you know, stuff like that. An old wrinkled picture of an old wrinkled lady and, oh, I'm just getting old or something. I never share those because I don't want to share destruction and death and stuff out there with people. So anyway, you and I and many, many, many people are being intentional about becoming ageless and having our health span go longer. And so that's great. So you have to make a decision. You know, we're just sharing, as Doc said, information with you so that you have it. If we didn't share it, where would you get the information? Well, where would you know how to look for this type of information? So you don't even have to believe us. Go look up resveratrol. Go look up supporting your telomeres. Go look that stuff up and discover for yourself what you want to be intentional about doing so that you're not living the rest of your life in pain and agony and, you know, not being able to do the things that you want to do, that you can have your highest function that you can have. That's right.
Well, Andrea, I'll let you close out the call. Everyone, thanks for being with us here today. And for those of you that are watching the recording, watching the video, thanks for taking the time to do that. Share it with people. Share it often. Let people know that there are other things. There's alternatives. So I'll hand it over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Doc, for being here and sharing with us once again. So if you are hearing this call live, that's great. Let's have a little comment down below, whatever you thought about today's call. And if you are seeing this on replay, go ahead and put replay in the comments so that we know that people are being reached that way. If a friend shared this with you, please get back with your friend, because they can help you get connected to us better or provide you with more information on some things that you'd want to optimize your health span with. And thank you for being here each and every Tuesday at noon Eastern time. Have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.